Should be going live any second. Are we live yet?
Yeah, to be live. Hello, welcome. This is the 9th of October in most parts of the world. Backdrop CMS user group meeting. And this time we're focusing on password-related modules. My name is Martin Price, Yorkshire pudding around the internet, and we'll just go around the room and introduce ourselves. So Tim first, and then nominate someone else.
Hi, sure. My name is Tim Erickson. I'm St. Paul Tim on the internet, but I'm not in St. Paul. I'm in Deerwood, Minnesota. And that's it. Justin Kaiser, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm Justin Kaiser, Kaiser JB on the internet, and I am in Southeast Ohio today.
Izzy?
Oh, hi, I'm Izzy. I'm from Vancouver, BC, west coast of Canada. I'm a freelance developer and site builder, and I love Backdrop. Thanks.
Tim and KC?
Hi, I'm Tim, and as you guessed, I am from Kansas City. So just listening in today, I pop in every now and then. Today I had time to pop in, so I'm just kind of seeing what's going on.
Well, thanks for joining us. Nate?
Thanks. I'm Nate Lampton. I'm technical lead for the Backdrop project, mostly on core activities, and I'm calling from Oakland, California.
Thanks, everybody. So, a couple weeks ago, Martin and Justin started an informal contest to see who could port the most password-related modules. And that just got us thinking that we might want to take a look at the porting that the modules that they had been porting, but also maybe just talk about what else is out there for password or login, maybe even broaden it to login related modules. I have a Google Doc, which I will try to put in the YouTube notes. It's in Zulip, if anybody's watching the live stream. That is just sort of a quick list of the password related modules I've found so far. If anybody's aware, that's by doing a search with the word password in it. If there are password modules that don't have the word password in the title, they might not show up. So help us find them and add them to the Google Doc. So, Martin, is there anything should we just jump right into a module, or do we want to talk about like how we got here?
Yeah, we can do.
Okay. Are you ready to go?
Yeah,
Martin?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll share a window. What I thought it might make sense to do is I'll share one of mine, and then maybe Justin share one. We can. Just gives me a bit of time to get set up after one. So let's just share that.
So Justin, get ready.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about today is password requirements. Now, I ended up creating this module. So this is not a port, it's created from scratch. Because my client had a password policy on, but they only had one policy in use across the whole site, and they were only using some of the rules. And the more I looked at password policy, the more I thought firstly, I don't want to port this, and secondly, if I do port it, I don't want to maintain it. So I thought it's actually going to be easier just to create a new module that just does what I need and just define everything in a simpler way. So that's what I did. So let's just enable that. I think it was already enabled, and go to the configure it it's at the moment it's got 3 groups. One which is based on characters, and a lot of these are replicating the things in that were in password policy, but I've tried to make the form just follow a bit better. So we've got the total number of characters that you can have in a password, got a count of numbers required, and with any of these, if you deselect them, then you don't have the box. But if you select these, so let's say we wanted two numbers, and we wanted 8, and we also wanted 2 special characters. Because we've only got a minimum length of 8, if we tried to save that, it'll basically say we've got to have the minimum length has got to match the requirements. So with letters, you can also specify that it must have both upper and lower case letters. We've got the exclusion to basically say it must not contain the username. I think Backdrop itself has a check to say it must not equal the username. But this is actually must not contain the username, so you couldn't just do, if your username was Bob2, you couldn't just do Bob223, because it would contain your username. And you can also prevent using past passwords, and you can check a number of past passwords. And you can also use the Backdrop strength level check as well, and say it actually has to meet that. So it gives you quite a bit of configuration, but it's both simpler to extend it and simpler to configure it, because it's just one lot of config for the whole site. Whereas password policy, you could have, I mean, Justin will talk about it a lot more, but you could have multiple policies on the site, which wasn't required for my use case. So if we save configuration, and let's now go and add a user account. So let's just create a new user account, and what we get here is a as soon as we start, it'll list both what the requirement is and if it doesn't meet it, it will also list what's wrong with it. So it tries to be as helpful as possible in all of these, and provide a symbol. This module does require 1.32 at least, because it uses, if you're resetting your password, we made a change to that in 1.32. So let's just get rid of that. It's really annoying that. So I've got so I've now just entered quite a few different things in there just to meet the requirements. And there we've got a password and it's passed. If I tried to do it with a password that didn't meet the requirements, I get this notification, so and I have to try again. So that's it. It works on if you're registering an account, if you're creating an account, if you're changing account, and or if you're resetting your password. And pretty much the interface is the same for all of these. Any questions about this module?
I think so. Sounds like there's not.
No, cool. Okay, I'll stop sharing, and if we perhaps might be a good idea to go to the password policy one first. If you've
Yeah,
got that,
I'm gonna do that because it's really similar. I mean, it works the same, more or
Yeah,
less, but it is more complicated, like you said, because you get your password policies when you go to the menu item for it, and you add a policy of which you could have multiple ones in a site. You can apply, you can build a policy for a specific role in your site. And there are a whole lot more constraints that you can turn on and off. And I found one at the bottom that I need to remove and fix in the module because I kept Drupal strength in here along with backdrop strength. And I don't think I need that one on the bottom anymore. Um, so we've got not contain the username like yours had, special characters, add a minimum special character, add a minimum letter count, make it mixed case, add minimum characters, say passwords that people can't use, um, consecutive characters, so you can't have the same letter or number back to back. Past passwords, so you could check it against 5 or 10 previous passwords, so people couldn't reuse passwords. Minimum number of numbers, a delay, so you could restrict password changes to a time period. So I guess a bad guy couldn't go in and keep changing people's passwords. The part of this that is also interesting is that you can set an expiration for passwords and make people change their password in the site. So I can set an
contentious.
Hmm?
There's a lot of contentious around forcing people to
Yeah, I
change
guess you can't.
passwords.
This is not something that officially you should make people do anymore because people are more likely to just change the last digit on the password
Mm.
and recycle the same thing over time. But this is something that my organization still does, not on websites, but it is a capability that this module provides. So you can set the the when you want them to expire and when people start getting emails about the password expiring. Uh, I'm not actually sure what this authentication systems does, but I ported it from Drupal and Maybe I should just remove it. Or figure out what it does. I'm not actually using this module. It was just something that came up. I was looking at password modules and I'm like, maybe we should have this one. So it was a fun exercise. Um, so Martin talked about most of how this works, and I believe that it works almost exactly the same on a user account. Maybe we should move on to the next one because it's very, very, very similar. It's just more complicated. You can have multiple ones in your site and many more constraints.
Okay. So are you going to show the next one? Oh,
Oh,
who's
you want me
next?
to? I can. I will show the next one because this one's small. So PRLP, password reset landing page. Let me see if I have this one turned on. For some reason, my admin menu keeps disappearing on this site. Okay, first of all, I'm going to turn it off. Okay, it's off. So I've got I think I remember what these passwords are, but I'm going to log out. Go to user reset password, user 2. I need to get my
Isn't that exactly why you need this module? So that when you do your request for a one-time login, that it sends you the link and then, oh, you've done that.
No, it sends you the link. So this is the core functionality. No, this is actually how password reset landing page works, but I thought I turned it off. So it immediately upon getting that email and you going, it makes you reset the password. So and then logs you in. Instead of going to the user page, it normally lands without that module on the user account page, and you've got to enter your password. But it logs you in first. So it like puts the reset right up front and center before anyone can log in. So they don't forget to do it or somehow mess up doing it. It makes it easier for them to get to.
Yeah, and with Drupal, the similar module, if you had something like a login destination that would take you to a specific page, the password reset landing page would override it on a reset. It would take you to the password screen. So it was quite a useful module.
I thought so. I thought it was interesting when I came across it, and it looked pretty simple, so it was an easy thing to get working. And I thought folks might find it useful. Do you have another one, Martin?
Yeah, I've got password strength, which is
Oh, no, Nate
one.
made a
So
comment. Nate made a comment in the chat.
Oh,
He wondered if password reset page has been integrated into Core.
well, maybe so. That's probably why it went there when I didn't have the module on.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
It's already in core, or it should be in core.
No, it already is.
No.
Like the behavior that Justin showed is already the behavior even without the module.
Oh, okay.
All right. So that was a waste.
okay, so I've disabled password
I just thought it was different.
requirements, and I'm going to enable password strength. Because generally you wouldn't have both of these on the site at the moment. I do have some thoughts as to how they might integrate and basically allow this to be another part of the password requirements, but at the moment they are very much standalone. So I should just point out while there is a config button there, the config can be found under config user accounts, and it's the same for the password requirements. It's under user accounts. So here we've got these are the different levels that you can have, and these are defined by the upstream ZXCV BN PHP library, and I'll talk a bit about that. But I'm going to go for the very strong here. What this rather than doing strict things around numbers of certain characters and the length of it, it has a number of lists. So it has things of common passwords. It has things of common words. So it looks up the different words that there are, and it instead of just saying applying a score based on the characters, it calculates how many guesses it thinks a cracker will take to get this password, and then it applies different different ways. So whether that's checking online with kind of flood control, or if someone gets access to the hashed passwords in the database, and they've got access to a fast system, how fast are they going to be able to crack it? And I think this is one of the most interesting aspects of this. So what I've done in this module, and this is different from the Drupal 7 module because it's a relatively new feature of the upstream library, is I've also added from what comes back from the model as the fastest crack time. So using the very fastest offline hashing that the model provides, though it would be possible to feed in parameters to suggest an even faster model. But it calculates how long it will actually take to do this. And this module provides a little test screen, so you can you can see as you do it what the different things are. So it will already say fastest crack time less than a second. It's not strong enough. It contains dictionary words. One reservation I have with the strength levels in here is it's saying that it's meeting the level of good when the crack time is less than a second and it contains the word password. So I would only recommend going for the very strong, and it's why I do think that perhaps I need to make this more configurable so you can do it more around the actual crack time. So if we do actually start putting in a bit more randomness, we then can get up to having a fastest crack time of centuries. So we can be we can be fairly confident that it's going to be quite difficult to do this. It's interesting. I'd done most of the work on porting it, but just hadn't quite finished. And then Herb chimed in on. I had raised it in the backdrop ops contrib issue queue to say I was working on it. Then Herb chimed in on Zulit to say he'd just created a module that integrated the same library. So decided we would sort of pool resources. So I pushed mine up and Herb provided a few improvements based on the things that he'd found. So that's kind of what the module's now based on. It's based on the password strength module, but quite a bit improved, and it's got a few extras. But I do think it could go further. And again, this is exactly what you would see, except on the password fields, it'll be normally hidden, and you get the show password. But this is essentially exactly what you get when you're looking at a password field. So yeah, this is quite a different approach, and I think it does have mileage to be a bit more configurable, so you can because as we know, different systems are being developed. So someone did manage to get a copy of the hashed passwords from the users table, and they've got very fast machines. Then they may be able to crack it much faster, which is why I think making it a bit more configurable around the speed of guessing, I think might be the way to go on this module, so it can develop as the technology keeps growing. It can provide more accurate information as things develop. So, any questions about this? No, doesn't look like it. Okay, let me stop
Okay.
sharing there.
Any others? Do those the ones you two did?
Justin's got
I've
a
got
couple
forced
of others.
password change, which I really hope isn't in core.
I'm fairly sure it isn't.
Um, so, so my use case was I got a message from someone, one of the users in a site, and they said, "Hey, I don't remember what my password is. I can't log in." Which, as an admin, I could reset it, tell them what it is, and then they can log in and go about their business. But I have no way of knowing if they changed that generic password that I gave them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
So with this, I can force a user's password to change and then set it to, oh, they have to change it when they use this forced password. When they log in, they have to change it to something that for them. Because I was looking in the site, like I feel like I should be able to just go on a user profile and say reset the password and it sends them a reset password link.
Mm,
And I don't think that exists, does it?
no.
Why wouldn't you just tell them to use a reset password link?
Um,
They don't have access to that?
oh, in this case, this is what was happening. The site was running through Cloudflare and the reset password page was timing out. So they couldn't get to it
Oh.
to have it work. So I needed to reset it for them. And I didn't have a way to do that with confidence that they would reset the password to something useful later. So this is nifty too, like force password change on first time login. So if I create a new user and I give them a generic password and say, hey, use this password to log in, then I can make them create their own the first time they log in. So I can force entire roles to have a password change. I can set password expiration just like I could with the other password policy module. So this is the password change settings for everyone. But also if you go to the users, individual user accounts, there is a checkbox for force this user to change their password. So, and you save that, and then the next time they go to log in, they're going to have to change the password.
Okay.
Questions about that?
No, I think certainly being able to force it for and more selectively is sounds very useful at times.
Sure.
And this means this setting here on every page load or on login only, that means that if somebody is logged into the site, like the next time that the next page that they go to, it's going to make them change their password.
Wow. You're mean.
Yep. Wait until I finally port that old misery module from Drupal.
Well,
That one's awesome.
well, some people might be logged in a sustained way, like remember me. So having it reset on the next page, force it on the next page load would address those situations.
Thinking, Justin, or should we wait for your response or?
Oh, what was that? I was
Oh.
thinking about something else. What do we?
Okay. I didn't
I
hear.
wondered
Is
what this. I wondered what the details link was for, and then I remembered.
okay.
Yeah, no, I was saying that the force on the next page load could be useful for those cases where the person has logged in with the keep me logged in
Right.
function.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
And
I
it
think backdrop out of the box keeps you logged in for quite a while anyway. So
isn't there some kind of force logout module too?
possibly.
Yeah, there's an auto logout module.
Probably that could be related to this. We should add it to our spreadsheet if there is. I'm looking for it. Force log session limit.
This force password change does keep a log of every time somebody, how many times somebody has changed their password and how long ago they changed it, and all sorts of stuff like that too. And
Auto
how many?
log out.
Yeah.
Auto log out is another module. That's Herb Dual maintains. Let's get that one on our list. Okay. So is that all the modules that we had ready to demo today?
I think so.
I'm going to share my screen and we'll look at this. Nate, are you still there?
Yeah,
I
for a
have
bit.
kind of a policy question. So this Google link to this Google Doc is in Zulip. I'll try to put it in the YouTube show notes or video notes. These are all the user, the password modules that I found. I started out just searching for password. I did also, I went to the most popular, the usage stats, and I went to usage stats for all projects. And I just wanted to see like what the most used password related module was. And it's a little bit of a stretch, but the login related would be login destination. I think one of you guys mentioned that one. That's got 267 users. Of the other ones we've been talking about, well, most of them are new, so they don't have users yet. But of the other ones I sort of looked for and found not a huge usage, but I think it's worth talking about just what a couple of these do, like protected pages, because I think that's the one that just allows you to put like a generic
I've
password on
I've
a
used that
page.
one.
Right. And I've had use cases for this. So maybe it's like a client wants to provide a page that they don't want it to be public, but they also don't need it to be super secure, right? They just want to like say to my user to send out a password and say anybody with this password will be able to access it. I think
And
that's what protected pages does. Can somebody confirm that?
yeah,
Okay.
another
So
part, another
yep.
thing you can do with it is if you're building something and you want it to you want to send it to someone as a preview so they can look at it,
Mm-hmm.
but they aren't a user in the site. So they can't log in
Right.
and see unpublished content.
Right. Yes, I think that's another use case is maybe you don't really have users on the site, right, other than editors, but you
Yep.
want to put minimal protection on something. You don't have to actually have people create accounts. You can just give them a password and say
Mm.
anybody with that link can see it. Um, I'm sorry I'm jumping around a bit, but Nate, before I want to do this before I forget. I stumbled across this situation and I'm just wondering what the policy is. So this is a module that has 8 tags as recently as 2020, but I can't find it on backdrop.org. There's nothing in the README to say that it's been like deprecated. If we go to the, if I take the machine name and just put it into here, nothing comes up. And if I search for it, nothing comes up. So I'm wondering, I mean, I think there have been examples of like modules that have been deprecated. But what bothers me is that there's no, like history or record to explain what's going on. If this is just a bug, is this intent? Should this be available and it's not, or there's no open or closed issues? There's nothing in the README.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It,
A recent version of Backdrop Core, and I can't remember if it was the most recent release or the one before that. We already eliminated the current. Oh wait, there's no current password. Oh, okay. I was thinking it was the confirm password. Okay, never mind.
No,
Um,
yeah. So I think what this module does is, right, normally when you change your password, you have to enter your current password before you can
uh-huh.
create a new one. And it
Yeah.
looks to me like that this disables that. And whether that's a good idea or not, I'm reserving judgment.
Yep.
Um, but I'm just puzzled by why the module is not on.
yeah, it doesn't appear to have any have gone to the packaging
But it
thing
has
because there's no package error or anything like that.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure
Wonder-
why it didn't show up. It looks like, yeah, there's no there's no package error, but there's also no package asset here. So these are the source code files, but it's missing the like download module
Mm,
well,
asset.
one one
this
thing
doesn't
I'm
happen as much
wondering
anymore,
is,
but that used to happen occasionally, didn't it? And then you just have to redo it.
Right.
yeah,
And I wonder if this person just never, thought they did their module and it just never got uploaded. Um, can we, so like, if we had access, should we try to fix this or probably just open an issue and see if Eric is available on, if he
Yeah.
wants it
he's
published?
occasionally around. I think he's around in Zulip occasionally. So
Okay, well, maybe what I should do is just open an issue in the issue queue, alerting him that
yeah,
this is not on backdrop.org and that he might have to
yeah.
re-release it if he wants it.
One thing I'm wondering, and I don't know if this is the case,
Yep.
in the .info file, it says it's got type equals module at the very top. And I don't know whether the packaging thing cares about where that
I don't know, but it wasn't unusual.
sits in.
I don't know if
In
this
the,
is still happening, but I used to see this fairly frequently, that somebody would, people would frequently come in to Zoom or Zulip and say, I just released a module, but it's not going to backdrop.org. And if you looked, it would look like this. And then they would just have to redo it and then it would work. So I don't think that we have to look too hard for an explanation for this, why it might have happened. But the question is, what do we do now? Now that we've stumbled on the fact that there's this module that has a release but isn't on backdrop.org, do we just fix it or do
or
we
even on backdropcms.org.
Yeah.
Martin gets me every week on that.
So the easy thing to retry it is that like you don't need to actually make a new tag. You can just delete the release on GitHub and then create it again.
Yeah.
And then that will re-trigger the webhook that fires on new releases and it might start everything if everything is correct. It looks like potentially what happened here is that he made a 1.0 release
Mhm.
and then if the release isn't releasable, then the packager will attach a text file saying, hey, I couldn't make a release because there's some issue that prevents it from actually being considered valid. But then you can delete that asset, which might have also happened. So I'm guessing like delete the tag and then, or sorry, delete the release. You can leave the tag in place and then recreate it, and that might fix it.
Right, but the question is that something like if I have permission, I should just do for him, or should I put a note and ask him to do that?
Really doing it all properly, it would be file an issue, suggest that the maintainer does it, and then if the maintainer doesn't do it, then
Sure.
use your bug squad authority to do it anyway.
That makes sense. Well, it kind of does, except that one of the things that I think I've heard come up before is that the bug squad has the authority like to fix bugs in an emergency, but not to issue releases. I'm not certain about that, but I think
I think they can issue a release to fix bugs, but not a release for features. So I think if they merge bugs, then they can do a release, because otherwise it's not much use to most people who install modules through the UI.
well, I understand that logic, but I thought that we did that. Somebody did that once and got told that it was supposed to, you can merge a bug. I think the idea was that you could at least merge the patch in so that the person who submitted it could download it, but that only the maintainer should do the release. I think it would be good to clarify that, but we don't need to do that here in this meeting.
Well, it sounds to me like you've got two issues here. One issue is that now that you've discovered it, the proper thing to do is to create an issue
Yeah,
in this contrib module so the maintainer can try
Yeah.
to take care of it. The second question is, what if they don't deal with it?
Right.
Then when does the bug squad get involved?
I will do step one and then we'll deal with step two, I think, in a different meeting. It'd be better for a dev meeting. Anyways, I created this spreadsheet. I've linked to most of the backdropcms.org pages. Except I think this one is, that is, okay. We just talked, automated logout just came up at the minute. I didn't finish adding it to the list, but I think it's sort of related to passwords and belongs on this list. Is there anything? One of the things we mentioned, I think that was before we went live, is there's this IP login, which is a way to bypass passwords altogether, and only they automatically log in users with a certain IP address. I did not know this existed. I just stumbled across this module. I think again, it was before the meeting started that we talked briefly that like a use case for this could be like an intranet. So maybe you want a website, but that would actually, I don't know if this combined with other modules might do that. But if it's logging in by, well, I suppose you could have just like one public page that anybody could see, and then the rest of the site could be require the IP address. But if you didn't want the site public at all, this wouldn't work. I think there are other modules that might do that, that might like only make the site available at all if you're for a certain IP address. Yeah, isn't there a module like that? Because like for dev sites, what we have are if we put an archive of a site up for a client, sometimes we use like HT access or HT password to put a little password block up so you can't actually access the site without a password. And I'm pretty sure I recently found a module that like would just allow you to like whitelist an IP address to even view the site and would replace the need for that login screen. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? No? Okay, I'll have to do more looking on that. But looking at the Google Sheet, is there any other?
Did we talk about passwordless?
No. I don't think we did, and I think it's worth mentioning that one, because again, I just discovered this.
I
Have you
love
used it?
this concept.
Okay, describe it.
I love this concept of not needing a password, but say, send me an email, and then you
Right.
click on the email after you get it, and then you're logged into the site. I use this often on the internet because sometimes I don't remember my password.
Have you used this module before on Backdrop?
I attempted to, but I think I got a PHP error and it didn't want to work for me, which I was
Okay.
going to dig into. The thing about this is that this module absolutely takes over the login, and you can only log in via the
Right.
getting the email and clicking on the link. I would like something where you get the choice of using a password or getting an email
Right.
that logs you in.
I was gonna ask you if that was possible with this, because that seems to me that it would be a nice option. Is that considered a secure system? Because it's not technically two-factor authentication, is it? It's just one. It's like taking the second factor in what a lot of sites require, right? A lot of sites you do the password and then you have to do the link. And this is sort of taking the one step out and just relying on the link, which I would think would still be pretty darn secure.
Yeah, I think I would be sort of nervous about using this, because if someone, I guess it means that if someone's got someone might have these emails in their account, and their email account gets cracked, and they say, actually, if I go to this site, I can request a new login and I can log into this site. So it depends what the site does, but it's not that rare that I'll find out that one of my contacts has had their email account hacked by, you get an email saying, I can't phone at the moment because I've got tonsillitis, but I really need your help. And so you can tell that their email account's been cracked. And if someone got into one of these email accounts, they would know that they'd be able to see the emails from this if someone hadn't deleted them, and would be able to get a new login.
You're talking about if they actually did take over someone's email account, not just
Yeah.
spoof it. They didn't just spoof
Yeah.
it, but they,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to think more about that. And I think it all depends on what your security requirements are.
Yeah.
I mean, I like to think I don't like the attitude that like we always, in every site in every situation needs the most secure solution, and
No.
that you need to be a little bit
Some it doesn't matter as
right.
much
So
for, at least for certain roles.
yeah, yes,
But if a person's email account has been hacked into, then the normal reset password link is still going to be a vulnerability.
right.
Mm.
Good point.
Yeah.
Anyways, we've raised that issue. We don't need to solve it today. Is there? But so that was another interesting one that that one and the IP one I thought were both things that like hadn't even occurred to me might be available. How about what isn't on this list would be the login with Google or something. Do we have modules for that? I don't love that solution and I don't usually use it. I'm pretty sure I have I maintain a site though that has that. Is there a module that allows you to use Google as an alternative authentication? Nobody
I think there
knows.
might be some, but I don't know how well maintained they are.
G-auth.
That's what, yeah, I was trying to think, what would I search for?
G-auth.
Is okay. And did you find it? We do have, I think we have a module for that, don't we?
Yeah, we have it.
Okay. Google Auth, okay. Well, I typed in auth. I'm just looking to see if there's nothing else that seems, so this would definitely be about,
Well, that's different than what I found.
oh.
That's Geo.
Oh, it's, yeah, the machine name is just geauth, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was looking in GitHub. Sorry.
Yep. Let's add this to the list.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, we need to wrap up the meeting, but one of the things as I work on this list, this is a bit of a internal discussion, but how one of the things that Drupal used to have in the Drupal 7 days, I don't know if people still do it anymore, would be like dot pages where people would create lists like this, where they would create sort of module comparison lists in a certain, for a certain functionality, and they would list all the modules that do this thing and try to describe how they were different. We don't really have much or any of that. But I would
No.
think like having a list like this available somewhere would be kind of valuable to help people. Or
Yeah.
if we had related modules on that would be another way of doing this, is a way to tag related modules on backdrop.org, so you could just see other similar modules.
Mm. Yeah. A similar one to the protected pages one is token content access.
Is that's your module, isn't it?
Yeah, which I demoed, I think, at the last Backdrop Live.
Token content access.
Yeah.
Give us a real quick summary. Remind me how that.
So basically, you can secure particular pages, or you can even secure a view. So you can basically you can
Okay.
provide information, and it's basically through a URL parameter, and
Right.
you can set what the parameter key is and what the value is, and you've got bypass permissions as well, so you can, if people have got the role, they don't need that, but
Right.
if they've got the token, then they can access this page, and you can set it the same on multiple pages if you want, or copy it from existing pages. So it's a way of enabling people to access things without a login that would normally get an access denied.
Yeah. Okay. We should wrap up. We've run over. We've lost most of our audience. It's down to the four of us. Thanks, everybody. Interesting discussion. Any final words from anyone else? Okay. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to stop the recording.